Welcome back again to Music Monday. Today, I think we're going to do something irreverent and philosophical, because how can you be irreverent and philosophical on a Monday afternoon? So it's a Chris Smithers song, kind of bluesy, called Intelligent Design. Eve told Adam, snakes I've had 'em, let's get on out of here and raise this family someplace out of town. They left the garden just in time, that landlord cursing right behind. They headed east and finally settled down. One thing led to another, a bunch of sons, one killed his brother. They kicked him out with nothing but his clothes. But the human race survived, 'cause all those brothers all had wives. But where they come from ain't nobody knows. All right, verse 1. Again, this is another song that is not overly complex to figure out, but it's kind of fun to sort of look at the artistry of it and kind of talk about all the illusions in it. But so Eve told Adam, snakes I've had 'em, let's get on out of here. Which isn't quite historically accurate, I guess, or biblically accurate. Really what happened is, of course, the snake is Satan, who came down and tempted Eve to eat of the tree, the fruit of knowledge, and so she did it, and then she told Adam that she did it and talked him into doing it too, and then God came down and said, I told you not to do that, now you have to leave. So Eve told Adam, snakes I've had 'em, let's get on out of here. I don't think it was her idea. It was really God's idea. Let's get on and raise this family someplace out of town. They left the garden, obviously the Garden of Eden, left the garden just in time, that landlord cursing right behind God. They headed east and finally settled down. They went to the land of Nod, I believe. Oh, that was where Cain and Abel was, but off the east side of the garden, where God erected the cherubim there to protect the tree of knowledge there. Settle down. One thing led to another. A bunch of sons, one killed his brother. So that's the Cain and Abel story, where Cain kills Abel, kind of out of jealousy. Am I my brother's keeper? They kicked him out with nothing but his clothes. So no, he went to the land of Nod. Cain did. But the human race survived, 'cause all those brothers all had wives. But where they come from ain't nobody knows. Which is a great bone of contention, with the theologians and the people, sort of the anti-Christian establishment going, okay, well where did Cain's wife come from? Because it's not really listed. We go from the end of Genesis, or the end of the third book of Genesis, into the fourth book, and there's just a story that all of a sudden there was this woman there that he married, and they had a child, Enoch, I think. I know, so it's just kind of funny. So that's the first verse. Set up the inconsistencies in the Bible. Then we get into the second verse. Then came the flood, go figure, like New Orleans, only bigger, and only those could swim would make it through. But the lucky ones were in a boat, think circus and then make it float, and hope that no one pulls the plug on you. How they fed 'em is a mystery, it ain't written down in history, but it's cinch they didn't live on cakes and jam. 'Cause in spite of that old adage, lions don't eat cabbage, and I never seen one lie down with a lamb. So then we have Noah's Ark. Then came the flood, go figure. Like New Orleans, only bigger. That's no disrespect to people of New Orleans, I guess, but kind of a tragic event, but it makes it funny in the song, I guess. And only those could swim would make it through. But the lucky ones were in a boat, and Noah's Ark, think circus, and then make it float. Because I get all the animals by two. It certainly looks like a circus, all right. And hope that no one pulls the plug on you. And then we're messing around again with the inconsistencies, or just the miracles of the Bible, I guess. How they fed 'em is a mystery. It ain't written down in history. It's a cinch they didn't live on cakes and jam. 'Cause in spite of that old adage, lions don't eat cabbage, And I guess that comes from the Chinese New Year, where you do the parade, and the lion would eat bok choy or that lettuce, and it was supposed to signify wealth, especially if you spit it back up on you, which is a bizarre custom, I guess, in our world. But I guess our customs are pretty bizarre in other worlds too. Get the fat jolly man sliding down chimneys. Kind of a funny story, but. Anyway, so it's lions don't eat cabbage, and I never seen one lie down with a lamb. So yeah, how do you feed all these creatures on the ark? I don't remember reading much about how we fed all these. So we got the lions don't eat cabbage, and then in Isaiah in the Bible it talks about after Revelations and the day of reckoning that the lion and the lamb and the wolf and everybody will live happily ever after in heaven. So. I'm not sure how that actually happened on an ark. Any of you guys out there have children know that you can't even keep siblings actually from tearing each other apart. So how they're able to do that with lions and lambs is truly a miracle. All right, third verse. Well, Charlie Darwin looked so far into the way things are, he caught a glimpse of God's unfolding plan. God said, I'll make some DNA, they can use it any way they want, from paramecium right on up to man. They'll have sex and mix up sections of their code, they'll have mutations, the whole thing works like clockwork over time. I'll just sit back in the shade while everyone gets laid. It's what I call intelligent design. Just you and that cat Felix all wrapped up in that double helix. It's what I call intelligent design. And then we get into the punchline of the song, really, because we're really looking at obviously creationism versus evolution, and then sort of that middle ground is creative design, or intelligent design. So the middle ground is we recognize that the world had to have been created by an intelligent being because of Fibonacci sequence and just these natural patterns, and looking at what happens in nature generally isn't necessarily pattern forming. And so if there's this very precise patterns, and there has to be some sort of intelligent design behind it is the idea. So again, to introduce this, we go from the evolutionary aspect into the intelligent design. But Charlie Darwin looked so far into the way things are, he caught a glimpse of God's unfolding plan, which is just a great line, because it is sort of recognizes this middle ground that Charlie and the people who believe in evolution and Darwin, and Darwin's like, no, he just sort of recognized what was going on all along in God's plan there. God said, I'll make some DNA, they can use it any way they want, from paramecium right on up to man. Which is kind of funny too, I think, and I forget the actual number on it, but the genetic structure of fruit flies are like 97% close to humans, like this very distinct, very short, small differences between the two, which is kind of funny too. The paramecium up to man. They'll have sex and mix up sections of their code, they'll have mutations, the whole thing works like clockwork over time. I'll just sit back in the shade while everyone gets laid. It's what I call intelligent design. I just love the reference to that line, because actually it's a pretty masterful plan if you think about it. Just going to do this stuff, and we'll let nature take its course, and we'll have this world. Just you and that cat Felix all wrapped up in that double helix, which is just really kind of fun, a way to rhyme with helix. What are you going to do with Felix? It's what I call intelligent design. And a little nice blues riff. Cool. There's Julie's clock going off. Julie's clock always goes off in the middle of a recording session. This is kind of what it does. But I had a little bit of help from Ola today, but she's passed out on the floor, zonked out. So good girl. You're a good girl. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Check out Chris Smither. He's got another great song called, I think it was Happier Blue. Just an awesome song by him. So thanks again. Really appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love it, hate it, like it, share it, do what you do. Give me more song suggestions because I'm running out. Well, not really, but I always like to see what other people like to do. And we'll see. I probably get, got another month of this, and then paddling season will pick up and I'll get pretty busy, so I'm not sure how many I'll be able to get in after that. So, but I appreciate you joining me. Thanks a lot for the support, and I will see you next Monday.